session and let me share the screen. Right. So we have one more shortcut key is there to run the queries, that is alt X. Okay, you have to run alt X to run the queries. Once you just run the alt X query, you can see this is your output pane. Okay, this is your output pane. Here you can see the output of that query. Okay, so now it is loading, right? So you can just drag this part up and down. Okay, just if you select here, you can drag this part up and down, and let me expand this one. Okay, and of course you can drag it for up and down. Okay, just keep the cursor here, and if you want to drag it up, you can drag it up, and if you want to drag it down, you can drag it down. Okay, if you see here, Microsoft SQL Server 2012 and 11.0.21.00.60, this is 64-bit SQL Server, and the edition is Enterprise Edition. So in this way you can find the version and edition of the SQL Server. So in this way you can run the queries. Okay, this is the okay management studio. This is the query session. We are going to call this as a session. Okay, we are going to call this as a session. Once you just open a session, you can see here, right, one number is there. This is called session ID. With this number we can track each and everything: who logged into the server, what query he just ran, okay, how much cpu took, how much memory it took, how much read and writes, okay, input output io, how much io it took, at what time he ran the query, on what database he ran the query, how many seconds or how many minutes it took to execute the query. Everything you can see here. If you see in the below, you can see one thing, right? So this is your server name, query completed successfully or query executed successfully. You can see here, if the query is still executing, you just gave the long query. If the query is still executing, you can see the status as executing here. And if you see here, it is showing the computer name. This is your computer name, and this is the login name. Okay, this is the login name, and this is, you can see here, master database. You ran this query on the master database. Okay, if you see here, you just ran this query on the master database, and it almost took 8 seconds to run this query. It almost took 8 seconds to run this query, and the results are one row, only just one row. Imagine you have 100 rows. You cannot see all the 100 rows in this small output pane, right? You have to simply drag down. Okay, but here if you see 100 rows, the output will show you 100 rows here. By just looking the output here, you can easily understand how many rows are there in that output. Okay, sometimes if you use select query on a table, in that table we have almost all 1000 records are there. You cannot simply drag it down, or else 1 lakh records are there. It will be very difficult to drag the button down. Okay, and by just looking this rows, number of rows here, you can easily understand, okay, 1 lakh records are there in this table, or 1 crore records are there in this table. Okay, so like this you can easily understand how many rows it was returned and all. Okay, now only it returned only one row, right? So you can see one row here, right? So before executing the query, usually people, what they will do, they will select the query like this, and they will execute it. Okay, before executing the query, this is one button called parse button. What is the use of this parse button? Can anyone tell me?
For
Query
execution,
parser. Yes, query parser means what it will do.
for execution purpose also we can.
Not for execution purpose. Execution purpose, there is one kind of tick mark like this. Okay, from on SQL Server 2012 Management Studio or 2016 Management Studio, you can see execute button like this. But for new Management Studio, you cannot see execute button like this. You can see just a tick mark button like this. You can click on the tick mark, but again, don't worry, I'll show you that execute button. Okay, this is your query parser. What this query parser will do? It will simply check whether your query is right or wrong, whether the syntax is right or wrong. Okay, whether the syntax is right or wrong, your query is right or wrong, everything it will check here. Say for example, I just okay, I'm going to remove one letter here. Okay, I just removed one letter, but it is actually wrong query. Okay, so before executing the query, I can simply run this parse button whether this is right or wrong. It will not tell you error is there at the version, you just missed the n letter and all. It will simply throw you query is wrong, must declare the scalar variable at version. See here, it throws one error. Or else if you simply, okay, remove the t here. Okay, you just mention, okay, n. So if you run this parse button, it will tell you, okay, whether this query is right or wrong. Okay, but actually it is not telling. properly, but here you can see. Okay, in another way also you can find, see here, if you see here, there is a red underline, right? There is a red underline. That means there is some problem with this query. Maybe a syntax error, maybe a spelling mistakes, or else maybe that object doesn't exist. Okay, maybe that object doesn't exist and all. Maybe if there is no table, if you are trying to return some values from the table, usually there will be one a red underscore, red mark under that particular word and all. That means maybe a, it is a syntax error, or maybe a spelling mistake, or maybe that object is not found in the SQL server and all. So in this way you can easily understand whether there are any errors in your syntax or not. Okay, once I just okay, place the T letter, see here that red mark is gone. So in this way you can easily understand whether your query is right or wrong. Okay, fine. Right, now what I'll do, we'll go for a basic T-SQL queries, a basic T-SQL queries, how to create a table. Okay, what is meant by database, we are going to discuss those things now. Right, so we are going to create a table now. Usually these tables are going to be stored, these tables are going to be stored in the databases. Tables are going to be stored in the databases. Okay, so in your SQL server, databases will be there. In the databases, usually tables will be stored. Okay, in the databases usually tables will be stored. As of now I don't have any user tables, but I have some system tables. If you want to see the system tables, even I don't have any user databases also. Okay, you can see there are no user databases, there are system databases are there. You can see here, if you expand system databases, you can see master, model, msdb, tempdb. These are the system databases. We have a separate session on the system databases. What master will do, what model will do, what msdb will do, what tempdb will do, what is the usage of those, okay, databases and all, we are going to discuss it, don't worry. If you expand msdb, if you just expand tables, if you expand system tables, you can see lot of tables here. Okay, you can see lot of tables. These are all system tables. Don't think like these tables will be there in all the databases. Only in some system databases you can find these system tables and all. Okay, in other databases and all, usually user tables will be there. Okay, so this is how a table look like. Okay, dbo dot backup file, dbo dot backup file group, dbo dot backup media family. So like this, these are the table names. These are the table names. Here dbo means schema name and your table name. Okay, so usually the hierarchy is in your SQL instance or SQL server. Okay, in your SQL server, databases will be there. Databases will be there. Okay, in your databases. Okay, what will be there in your databases? Schemas will be there. Schemas will be there. In your schemas, okay, tables will be there. This is how hierarchy will be there in the SQL server. In SQL server, databases will be there. In databases, schemas will be there. In schemas, table will be there. What is a schema? Schema is a simply a container. Schema is a container, logical container. Okay, is a logical container. Okay, here you will have your tables and all in your schema. We have default schemas like dbo is one default schema, guest is one default schema, information sys is one default schema, and one more default schema is there. You can see here, if you want to see the schemas and all, you can see here dbo, guest, information sys, and one more schema will be there, I'll tell you. Okay, let me go through this. Security, users, dbo, guest, sys, information schema. Yeah, dbo, guest, sys, and information schema. Okay, and sys is one more schema. These are the schemas, default schemas. So in this way you can easily identify the default schemas and all. Means your table names will be prefixed by the schemas. Mostly the default schema is dbo and your table name. Say for example I have employee table, so what will be the table name? Dbo dot employee. Okay, why? Because that employee table by default it's a part of dbo schema. If you don't provide any schema at the time of table creation, it will be created in the dbo schema. If you create any user schemas and all, you can create user schemas also, and you can create a specific tables in the specific schemas also, right? Now what I'll do, I'll create a table. Before creating the table, I have to create what?
Database.
Database. First I'll show you how to create the database and all, right? So how to create a database? What is a database? Database is a collection of data files and log files. Database is a collection of collection of data files and log files or log file. Database is a collection of data files and log file. Let me open one, okay, diagram for you. You can easily understand. Where is that demo? dbpix will have 1 minute. Someone send a message. Please permission. Madhvi, I gave you the recording permission. You don't have recording. Okay, sorry for that. Let me check whether everyone is having recording permissions. Okay, Anil, you can also record.
My actually I disconnected and again connected.
Okay, okay, okay. You can record now. Right. So, online. Right. So if you go through this picture, you can easily understand some of the topics. Okay. In your SQL Server, instances will be there. Okay. Usually SQL Server means instance, right? In the instance, if you go inside the instance, databases will be there. If you go inside the instance, databases will be there. Okay. We have discussed, right, just now we have discussed one point. Database means collection of data files and log files, but these files cannot create, okay, directly in the database. If you want to create data files and all, you should have file groups. Okay. If you want to create data files, first you have to create a file groups. So usually you can see here in the databases, file groups and log files will be there. Okay. Log file, there is no file group concept. Only for data file we have a file group concept. Okay. In the inside the database, you will have file groups and your log file. Inside your file groups, you will have your data files. There are two types of data files. One is MDF file, master data file, and second one is NDF file, next data file or new data file. We have two types of data files. One is MDF file and second one is NDF file. MDF means master data file and NDF means next or new data file. Okay, next or new data file. It's not compulsory to have the NDF. Okay, you can manage with MDF itself. So whenever you create any new database, it will usually have two files. One is MDF file and another one is LDF file. LDF means anyone having any idea? Log data file. Okay, they will mention like that, but again it's not a data file, it's a log file. Okay, so database is a collection of data files and log files. Every database should have these two files compulsory. You cannot create a database with only MDF. You cannot create a database with only LDF. You have to create your database with MDF and LDF. One file for each. One MDF file will be there, one LDF file will be there. At least one MDF file, one LDF file should be there to create the database. Without having MDF file and LDF file, you cannot create the database and all. Okay, fine. So now we'll see how to create. So if you go inside this database, you will have file groups and log files. And if you go inside the file groups, you will have your data files. There are two types of data files, MDF file and NDF file. And again, if you go inside your data files, there is extent concept, extents. Okay, we'll discuss about the extents. And again, if you go inside the extents, you can see pages. These are all the pages. All your tables will be stored on pages. At the end of the day, all your tables will be stored on the pages. Even system tables, system information, also SQL server will be stored inside a page. Page is nothing but a basic storage unit of a data file. Okay, don't worry about it. We have a separate session on pages, extents and all. Till now just understood to this point. Okay, inside your instance databases will be there. Inside your databases file groups and log files will be there. Inside your file groups you will have your data files. So if you want to create a database, what you have to do? If you want to create a database, what you have to do? You have to create one data file and log file. Right, now let me create the database. Go to your management studio. Okay, this is my remote server. You can create database in two ways, either GUI way or query method. Okay, query method is very simple, very simple. Create database, database name, that's it. If you want to create any database, okay, you can create like this. Create what you want to create, database, right? Database, you have to provide the name, right? I am going to provide the database name as a sales. That's it. These three words will help you to create a sales database. If you want to create some student database, you have to replace a sales with a student. If you want to create some employee database, you have to replace, okay, sales with employee and all. Simple, just create database, database name. By just giving these three words, you can create the database, or else you can create the database using GUI method. Right click on the database, select a new database option. Here you have to provide the database name. Now I am going to create sales database. Okay, I have to provide the database name. I am giving sales database name here. Okay, remember one thing, owner. For every database there will be one owner. Who is the owner of the database? Usually SA means sysadmin. Sysadmin will be the owner of the database. If you don't provide the SA, who will be the owner of this database, sales database? Just guess it. If I don't give owner of the database now, who will be the owner of this database? Who is creating the database, he will become the owner of the database. Now tell me, who is the owner of this database? You got my question, right? Who is the owner of the sales database? Who is the owner of the sales database? Someone said answer, but again they are they are not confident.
Admin names.
Administrator. Okay, with which account I am doing all these things? With administrator account I am doing all these things. Okay, so I am creating the database with administrator. So who will be the owner of the database? Computer name slash administrator will be the owner of the database and all. Okay, so in this way you can easily identify who is the owner of the database. If you don't provide the owner of the database as SA, then who is creating the database, he will become the owner of the database. In my case, I just logged in as an administrator, so I am creating the database. So the owner of the sales database is computer name slash administrator, right? If you see here, just now we have discussed one point. Okay, database is a collection of data file and log file. See here, I didn't create any data files and log files. I just gave the name of the database. Once you just type the name here, automatically it will take the name here. This is your data file and this is your log file. Okay, if you just expand the file type, you can see rows data means data file, and if you see file type is log means log file. So no need to create manually these files and all. Simply give the database name. Automatically SQL Server database engine itself will create data file and log file. See, if I change this name here, okay, I'm going to change it to employee. Okay, see here it is changing. Okay, it is changing here. Employee, EMPLOYE, employee. See here, it is changing. So the name of files also will be changed. If you change the database name, the name of the files also will be changed. The first name is your data file name, logical name, and this is your log file logical name, and you can see the file type as data file and log file. And I told you, right, you cannot create data files without having file groups. So your default file group will be primary file group. Your default file group will be primary file group. No need to create any file groups before creating the database. Okay, SQL Server will create a file group for you. The default file group will be primary file group. If you see in this picture, you can easily understand primary file group. But again, you can create multiple file groups. You can create multiple file groups. I'll tell you how many file groups we can create. Okay, how many files we can create, I'll tell you. So here only for data file you can see primary file group. For log file it is not showing anything. It is showing as not applicable. What is, why it is showing as not applicable? Why it is showing as not applicable for log file? Log file doesn't have a file group concept. Log file doesn't have a file group concept. So log file doesn't belongs to any file group. Remember, log file doesn't belongs to any file group. Only your data files will belongs to a file group. So the default file group is primary file group. It will come automatically when you are creating the database. The initial size of the data file, file means each file will have its own size, right? Imagine you have a Word or Notepad, something like that. Each file, this is one file. Okay, this is one file, this is one file, this is, these and all folders, we are going to call this as a folders, and this is also one file. Each file will have a size, right? This the file size is 4 KB. You can see here this file size is 4 KB, and if you see here this file size is almost all 20 KB. Each file will have a file size. In the same way, if you keep on writing this something to this file, automatically the size also will increase, right? Initially it is 20 KB. This is a Word document. If I'm keep on writing something to this file, the size of the file will increase, right? In the same way, you will have a data file size and you will have a log file size also. Initially it will create with 3 MB. 3 MB, you can see here initial size MB means data file size is 3 MB. The initial log file size is 1 MB. If you want, you can increase it, not an issue. You can give 1024 MB, means 1 GB, no issues at all. Depends upon your requirement. You can change the data file size and you can change the log file size and all. Initially if you don't give any size, it will create with a 3 MB data file and 1 MB log file and all. Why 3 MB came here, why 1 MB came here, I'll discuss. Okay, while discussing about the system databases, there will be one system database which will pump all these default values to the newly created databases. One system database is there, usually model database will provide all these default values to the newly created databases. So that's why you can see 3 and 1 here. Okay, you can change the initial sizes. And once this 3 MB is full, once this 3 MB is full, okay, there is one option called auto growth. Auto growth means if 3 MB is full, again you cannot, if 3 MB is full, again you cannot add storage, right? It will be very difficult. Why? Because in the organization you will have thousands of databases. You will have thousands of databases. Okay, 1000, 2000, 3000. So are you going to add okay size for each data file? Very difficult thing, right? So that's why we can allow an auto growth option for each file. If this 3 MB is completely full, then if you set the auto growth option, select here, you can see auto growth option. Make sure enable auto growth is there. If you simply auto growth is not there, if auto growth is none, the file will full once it reaches 3 MB. After that it doesn't have space to grow. Okay, if you are trying to insert any data in such scenario, it will throw the error like data file is full. But usually in the organization we are not going to keep it as a none. We are going to enable auto growth. There are some scenarios we have to keep this auto growth as a none. I'll tell you in which scenarios we have to keep it, right? So you have to enable auto growth on each database. Okay, and if you see the file growth, you can put as a percentage or you can put as okay megabytes. If you just put as megabytes, if you give 100 MB here, whenever this 3 MB is completely full, 100 MB will be automatically added to the data file. 100 MB will be automatically added to the data file when once this 3 MB is full. Or else if you give in terms of percentages, if you give 100 percentage, now tell me what will be the next file size. Currently my data file size is 3 MB. I just put auto growth as in percent and I just put as 100%. Now once this 3 MB is completely full, what will be my next size of this data file?
3 MB.
Means completely, means total, what is the size, file size? What is the total file size? I guess you all know calculations, maths, right? Very simple maths. 100% of 3 MB means how much? 100% of 3 MB means how much?
3 MB plus 3 MB.
Yes. What is the new file size?
6 MB.
6 MB. So why you are doubting for that as well? Okay. So now 6 MB is file size. Okay. Now I just put as a 50%. Now tell me what will be the new file size. Now the total file size is 6 MB. Now once the 6 MB is full, it is going to increase by 50%. Now what will be the new file size?
4.5.
4.5. Now the file size is, now the file size is 6 MB, not 3 MB.
9.
9.
9 MB, 9 MB. Okay. Imagine my file size is 6 MB. 50% of 6 MB is 3 MB. 6 plus 3 MB, 9 MB. If it is 3 MB, my initial file size is 3 MB. Then 50% of 3 MB is 1.5 MB. The total size is 4.5 MB.
4.5.
Okay. So imagine I have 100 GB here. Okay. I have 100 GB here. My file size is 100 GB and it was increased by 10%. Now tell me what will be the new file size. 100 GB is the initial file size and it was increased by 10%. Now what will be the new file size? 1.110.
110.
What is that 110?
110 MB.
110 MB. My file size is 100 GB.
110
Okay.
GB.
100 GB, and once this 100 GB is completely full, it is going to increase by 10%. Now tell me what will be the new file size. What is the 10% of 100?
110 GB.
110 GB. My new file size is 110 GB. Okay, automatically 10%. Once this 110 is completely full, again 10 more percent is going to add. Okay, now the new file size is 110 GB, right? If this 110 GB is also full, as you set the auto growth as 10%, 10% of 110 GB. What is the 10% of 110 GB?
121 GB.
What?
121 GB.
121 GB is your new file size. Okay, so no need to set anything. Don't worry, I have to learn all these things. Nothing like that. No need to calculate. Automatically, it will only calculate by itself. Depends upon the value you put here. If you put 10%, it will only calculate what will be the 10% of the initial size and it will increase the file size. Okay, till how much it is going to increase? Till you have free space in the drive. Imagine I have 2 terabytes free space in my drive. Okay, currently I have only 15 GB, right? If you go to this my computer, if you go to this C drive, I can see only 9 GB free space is there. My data files and log files are going to create in this C drive only. So can anyone tell me what will be the maximum size of my data file in this scenario? Till what point it can grow?
Up to 20.
Till what point, what size it can grow? I am going to create data file in the C drive. As I don't have any other drives. Okay. Now I just enabled auto growth on my data file. So what is the maximum size of the data file it can grow?
14 GB, nearly 14 GB.
Why 14 GB?
Free space is remaining free space is 14 GB, sir.
How much
Nearly 14.
how much free space is there in this C drive?
Sorry,
9.3.
9.32 GB is free. So
That's
up
it.
to
Very
9.32.
good. Very good. Okay. Till how much free space you have in the drive, it can grow till the end of the free space, means the maximum file size in this scenario is 9.32 GB. If we have 2 terabytes of disk, it can grow up to 2 terabytes. How much free space is there? It can grow up to that free space. Got it? So in this way, you can easily understand the auto growth option and all. Right here, if you see, you can select the auto growth and the max size you can limit. Okay, and max size also you can limit here. If you put unlimited, means it will keep on growing till you have free space in the drive. If you put limited, means you can put okay, it can grow up to 100 GB. Okay, or else it can grow up to 10 GB, or else it can grow up to 20 GB. How much GB you want to limit the size, you can simply mention here, but usually in the organization it will be unlimited only, it will not be limited. Okay, for log files it will be limited. I'll show you that one. This is the data file option. So now I just select that in percent option with the 10 percentage. Okay, once this 3 MB is completely full, it will increase 10 percentage of 3 MB is 0.3 MB. The new file size is 3.3 MB, right? Fine, just click OK. And path, in which path you are going to create this data file and log file, you can change the path if you want. If you want, you can change the path by just clicking this browse button, or else you can create in the same default path. Okay, so usually in which path it will create? C, program files, Microsoft SQL Server, and this is your instance root directory, mssql.mssql. I told you, right, for default instance it will show you MS SQL Server. In all other cases, in folder creations, in services.msc, in configuration manager, in every place it will show you as MS SQL Server. Only while creating, while connecting, you have to give the computer name. And in that one folder will be create MS SQL, and in that one more folder will be created data folder. There your employee data file and employee underscore log file is going to be created. Got it? This is only one page. If you go here, there are different pages, options. Okay, if you see here, there are different options and all collation settings. Of course it is going to take the server collation settings. Okay, so no need to worry about it. Recovery models, we have a separate class on recovery models. Compatibility levels, we have already discussed, right? SQL Server 2012 means what will be the compatibility level of the 2012? What will be the compatibility level of 2012? If you create any database in SQL Server 2012, what will be the compatibility level of the database? Okay, the answer you can see here 110. I told you, right? 11.0 110, 9.0 90, 10.0 100, 12.0 120. So it will associate with your bill number. And again, if you remove the dot, 11.0 means 110, it will create 110 folders. And the compatibility level also 110 for 2012, for 2014 120, for 2016 130, for 2017 140, for 2019 150. So the compatibility levels, okay, you can see in the bracket. Currently as I am installed SQL Server 2012, the compatibility level is 110, so you can see 110 in the brackets. Containment type, forget about it, I'll discuss again. Okay, again go to this file groups, and there are again separate options. You can see here different options. Auto close is false, auto create statistics is true, auto shrink is false. So you can see lot of options here. Okay, you can see lot of options here. Forget about it, all these options, no need to worry about it. Okay, and just go to file groups. I told you, right, there will be one default file group at the beginning. No need to create any file groups. One primary file group will be there. That is the default file group for every database. If you see here, this is your primary file group, and you can see there is one file in this file group. Okay, and you can see the read only option is not set. Okay, and if you see the default, what is means this default? If I want to create extra file groups, you can simply select this add button. It will allow us to create a new file groups and all. Okay, right? I'll tell you in the file group concept. As of now, that's it. Now what I'll do, I'll generate a script for this action. How to generate a script? You can see script button here. Just generate a script for this action. It will generate a script to create a new database. Okay, Now do you want to see that script, how much big that script will be? If you see here, once you click on the script button, it will script out. See here how much big script it is. But here we didn't give any option. We just simply, okay, type these options, type this query, okay, create database name, that's it. So in this way also it will create the database. The whole script for creating the database is this, but I am not giving anything. I am simply giving this first line. What about other lines? What about these lines, remaining lines and all? Who will give? You have to compulsory give these all these values to create the database, but I am not giving any values. I am simply typing, okay, create database name. See here, let me refresh this. This is your refresh button. Okay, if you want to, you have to refresh every time whenever you are doing any new thing, or whenever you are creating any new objects and all, you have to simply refresh, okay, to see those objects and all. Currently no user databases, right? Now I am executing this query. Okay, let me execute. I am executing with alt text button. Now if you see, the database will be successfully created. Okay, right? Yeah, it is still executing. Just 1 minute. Oh, it is taking this much time to create the database. Create database file, some file names listed could not be created. Check related errors. Okay, it is saying like, let me refresh it. Okay, so it is saying some different error and all, could not be listed, could not obtain exclusive log. Yes, fine. Okay, so here I'll tell you, okay, one more thing. Let me close this window. Okay, it is going to close now. Let me reopen the meeting. Okay, let me reopen the meeting. Please join immediately.